Welcome back to the ICWP newsletter, September 2017. Member Spotlight, Carrie Ann Owen. Read the gripping article about national and personal dysfunction and how one woman has used plays and poetry to confront the issues of her day. Quote, I am 68 years old now, writing as I did when I was 12 at a time of approaching nuclear war. The call to courage must be just as strong for creative artists as it was then. The informed conscience and the empathetic soul may be the only thing holding back the might of the generals and their leaders. Carrie Ann Owen. Acting and singing at an early age combined with writing to make me a dedicated playwright at a young age. My first play concerned religious rebellion by a young girl in medieval times. While an undergraduate at New York University, I began writing a play about domestic terrorism in an effort to understand our government's lunacy in Vietnam and the concurrent lunacy of homegrown terrorists bombing our school and also blowing themselves up while preparing to bomb a nearby military base. The name of the play is Circle of Silence and portrayed the consequences of parental rejection and emotion isolation on one young girl. 30 years later, autobiographies began to appear, and it turned out I had perhaps been president. The 60s terrorists have survived a parent suicide attempt, among other horrors. This particular future domestic terrorist had discovered her mother's head in the oven at age 9. Early unresolved grief ran like a wide thread through the lives of several of the bombers, as well as emotional explosiveness, sexual sadism, men and women, and a deep urge to be violent. I felt their frustration with our murderous government, participated in demonstrations, and had a deep personal identification with the Vietnamese, especially the children, under our B-52 bombers. The private school my sister and I attended had been directly under a double commercial plane collision in December 1960. War, therefore, has always been a very personal matter to me. But the political people I met were frightened by emotions, and a violent alleged member of Weathermen told me I was too fat to be acceptable in his circle. He was fatter than I was, after threatening to hit me. I kept writing, completed my Bachelor's of Arts at New York University, and also won the Academy of American Poets Prize given by my university department. The wonderful Master's Creative Writing program at San Francisco State University helped me develop a wide campus of concern, which, I hope, was accompanied by fluid yet disciplined technique. I spent months writing a sequence of poems about the decline and fall of Rome with very recognizable contemporary allusions. I have been able to produce my plays in San Francisco and Berkeley, and my play about Vietnam and the CIA won an award from the American Theater Association. Fortunately, I've been able to combine serious modern dance studies with playwriting. Terms of Surrender concerns a gay male couple, a choreographer in New York, and his lover in the early stages of AIDS in California. The dance segments occur in a hospice room and on the steps of St. Patrick's Cathedral. I thank God that I've been able to grow in empathy toward other person's experience of violence and prejudice and write plays that demonstrate human dignity and not stereotypes. My plays comprise the quest for sobriety in prison, children and older teens and young adults surviving abuse of many kinds, realistically illustrated along with their parents' collapses and coldness. I have written monologues for judges and correctional officers and prostitutes and for our national security aide to Henry Kissinger and for Nixon and Kissinger and Salvador Allende. And after I suffered loss of mobility due to crippling sciatica, I wrote comedies about living with a service dog among ignorant people who know nothing about such assistance. I even wrote about a cat who became a psychiatrist. Priyan. I just tuck my tail and dress for success, Priyan. The comedies won awards at Dominican University, San Rafael, California, and my work has been performed at the George R. Muskin Center and the J.F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. When I began my quest for artistic and moral and emotional clarity through writing, I had no idea that many men in the arts did not believe women belonged with them in their theaters, universities, poetry readings, etc. My plays have never been produced on or off Broadway or at the famous regional theaters in Minnesota, Kentucky, and Southern California. I blamed myself. My work just wasn't clear enough or good enough. Then the Princeton study came out, and harsh statistics concerning underrepresentation made clear that invisible wall of prejudice against women and male anxiety toward women. I stopped blaming myself, but felt a terrible grief that these American academic and artistic establishments prefer women to be sexually and intellectually degraded. Monsters must be kept at a distance. The women and men who gave greatly of themselves to help me understand the governmental insanities of my plays about Vietnam, Chile, nuclear proliferation, many similar subjects were not prejudiced against women. Their concern and respect for me kept me alive until medications for depression were discovered. I am 68 years old now, writing as I did when I was 12 at a time of approaching nuclear war. The call to courage must be just as strong for creative artists as it was then. The informed, conscious, and the empathetic soul may be the only thing holding back the might of the generals and their leaders. I have written a position paper on impeachment supporting the psychiatric observations of the Yale College of Medicine concerning Mr. Trump. The memory of my beloved husband and many friends support me. Write your heart, write your conscience. Now is not the time to give up. There may be no other time to be a creative artist, an interpreter of living souls. If Donald Trump suspends the Constitution and declares martial law. Welcome new member, playwright, actress, lyricist Eloise Coppersmith has been performing and presenting her creative talents for the last 50 years. Visit www.eloisecooppersmith.com. Representative play titles, Home for Mom, Finding Center, The Past, Re-Sil-Ints. Now playing and coming soon, Finishing School by Elaine E. Linaire. From Dallas, Texas, opens September 8th through the 17th at the Bristol Opera House in Bristol, Indiana, in a production by the Elkhart Civic Theater. Gorilla Girl, Afra Ben, a.k.a. Donald Katz, and Act Like a Feminist Artist, a Gorilla Girl Unmasked, at the Decatur Book Festival in Georgia on September 3rd at 2:30 p.m. www.DECATURBOOK.com/SESSION/VIEW/591 small d, 8, small d, 3, 2, 3, small c, 1, small c, d, 5, 3, small b, 573, small e, 205, small a, and at the Baltimore Book Festival on September 24th. www.BALTIMOREBOKFESTIVAL.com/participants, PARTICIPANTS/author AUTHOR/4409/DONNA-KAZ. Performing Tribute 9/11: Ordinary People, Remarkable Stories by Donna Katz will be presented by the Common Ground Community and the Fifth Avenue Presbyterian Church in New York City on September 14th at 7 p.m. 7 West 55th Street, New York, New York. www.fapc.org. Coming to America, written by Stephanie Satie and directed by Anita Kalzanian, October 22nd, 2 p.m. at the United Solo Festival on Theater Row. UNITEDSOLO.org, Audio version. Board member and newsletter team member Lillian Caldwell has made an audio version of the newsletter available through Passionate World Radio. Click on the icon below to listen. Member news, My Drama, Everyday Edna May received 3 nominations from the Planet Connections Theater festivity following production this summer, including a nomination for Outstanding Playwriting for a New Script. My dark comedy, Listen the River, received 4 nominations for acting and 1 for sound design. I was selected to be a panelist for the Broadway-bound Theater Festival in New York City in August. Cheers, Robin Rice. Top 10 Ways to Get Your Play Produced in New York by Debbie L. Miller. Are you at a creative impasse, burned out, tired of sending out submission after submission, only to receive nothing but rejections? Well, don't give up. That big production deal is just around the corner. If you follow these handy tips on how to get your play produced in the Big Apple, you'll be raking in the money in no time. 1. To fund your play, rob a bank, marry Donald Trump, or bump off a rich relative, or come up with a novel fundraising idea. Forget bake sales and car washes. Think outside the box. Host a Tupperware party in trendy Topeka. Parade around Midtown wearing a sandwich board. Dress as a duck. Actually talk to people in the subway. Let desperation be your guide, and don't be afraid to make a spectacle of yourself. It's New York, after all. Nobody will bat an eyelash. They don't call it showbiz for nothing. 2. Originality is way overrated. Forget about having your own voice. This is an erroneous belief started by a writer who read too many how-to playwriting books and attended too many workshops. The key word here is derivative. Copy characters, borrow ideas. You aren't stealing. You're paying homage to other writers. Make it a love story. You'll have a hit every time. Punch it up. Have the main character fall in love with a sheep, or better still, a unicorn. Audiences love to watch romance unfurl, but whatever you do, do not have the characters talk about anything serious. Frivolity must prevail. Create characters who muse about the weather, sing the praises of their dry cleaners, or long for the right haircut. The last thing you want to do is depress your audience by asking them to think about reality. 4. Give your play a sexual theme. Sex sells, remember? So sex it up. Elaborately staged orgiastic scenes, costumes that are Fredericks of Hollywood. No holds barred. If you worry about offending, you'll lose precious butts in the seats. And it's not the name of the game. This is a marvelous way to boost ticket prices and help your bottom line. Why charge just $95 a seat when you can rake in $250? 5. Cast big names. Think Dancing with the Stars and celebrity chefs. And don't forget washed-up former child stars. Anything that makes an audience say, gee whiz, I thought he was dead. 6. Remember the 3 S's. Fill your script with sex, sin, and special effects. Add lots of flying actors in tights, an erupting volcano or 2. Spray paint the audience with Rust-Oleum. After all, words just get in the way. 7. When hosting a reading of your masterpiece, encourage the audience to make comments that tell you how they would write the play, and be sure to take each criticism to heart. They're just trying to be helpful. After all, nobody's out to get you. Stop being so paranoid. 8. Is your muse out to lunch? Keep writing. Haven't had a creative thought in a decade? Write anyway. Nobody's listening to the words. The writing is just one cog in the theatrical wheel. Don't take yourself so seriously, for God's sake. 9. A word about success. That elusive butterfly. Elusive, yes, but there are more important things, are there not? Moments nobody can take away from you. The expression on the face of your lead actress when she flubs her lines. The actor who misses his cue and enters a page later. The director who stitched your play would be better if you closed Act 1 with your romantic leads doing it doggy style on a table. These are the moments that every playwright lives for. Forget about money and fame. These are our real bread and butter. This is why we dream of leaving our day jobs and why we'll do anything to get our plays put up. 10. If all else fails, you could always take hormones to lower your voice, sprout body hair, and grow a penis, thereby dramatically increasing your chances of getting the attention of producers, backers, and agents. Come to think of it, pretty much everything else falls into place if you follow this rule. So, there you have it. Follow these tips, and soon Broadway producers will be knocking down your door. Letter from the editor. Thank you for your contributions. We are trying to make the newsletter more inclusive of our members and to include news and writings from them. I have been ICWP newsletter editor for the past 5 years and love the opportunity to contribute to this great organization and to learn new skills. However, I have a lot of new obligations this school year, and I'm trying to start my own online business. With these extra responsibilities, I will not be able to continue doing the newsletter after first of the year. I will be happy to teach and mentor whoever volunteers for this job. You will have the opportunity to promote one of the best online communities on the web and become close friends with playwrights around the world. Yours for innovative, engaging, and equitable theater. Mona Curtis, newsletter editor. The image used in this newsletter are the work of creative Hexabesh. It was downloaded from Pixabay, August 26, 2017. It is available under a CC0 Creative Commons license. Thank you all very much for listening, and remember, stay tuned for the October 2017 ICWP newsletter.